Have you ever felt like you are completely stuck no matter what you do? And it seems as though everybody else is getting opportunities, but you, no matter how hard you try, you just don't. And it actually seems like you always have this bad luck and everything happens to you, and no matter how hard you work, you always get something in your way. And everyone else is having this big success, overnight success, but you just stay stuck in the same exact place. I know exactly why you feel that way, and that's because you're choosing the wrong narrative. And it's okay, we've all been there. Listen, this is more common than you think. There's absolutely no judgment here, because in this corner of the internet, we are all about improving ourselves and not shaming each other. Because the harsh truth is, the only person standing in your way of success is you. And there is a way to change it, and it's much less complicated than you think. It's backed by science, and when I tell you exactly what it is, you're just gonna be like, wow. So in this video, we're gonna focus on moving from victim mentality to winner mentality. Let's get started. So let's start by explaining this logically, because like I said, it's backed by science, and when I tell you, I mean, it's actually insane. I bet you probably heard the phrase that your brain doesn't see the difference between what's real and imagined, because it's getting very popular nowadays. So let's dig deeper into this. And I have notes right here that I'm gonna read, because this is scientific language and I'm not really good with that, so I'm not trying to memorize it. I want to tell it exactly how it is. So when you imagine something happening, the part of your brain that is associated with that specific sensation, like sight or sound, is activated in a similar way that if it was actually happening. And that is why when you, for example, imagine yourself in a stressful scenario, your brain will trigger stress responses. So you're gonna start sweating, shaking. Now here's the twist. Your brain does have a system of distinguishing reality and imagination, but don't worry, there is a way around this, and I'm gonna tell you in a second. But let's understand this first. The brain tries to evaluate the actual strength or vividness of the scenario, aka it's asking, is it actually believable? And the only way it will see it as real is if the signal is strong enough and is paired with other sensory information, meaning it's the feelings and emotions and other triggers that make your brain believe that what you are thinking about is real. So when you start envisioning something, let's say your dream car, and you start thinking about how it's gonna feel when you sit in the driver's seat, how is it gonna smell in there, like a new car smell? How would you feel picking up the keys, the metal, the dangling of the keys? This is where you create an experience that is vivid enough for your brain to believe it. Insane, isn't it? Which ultimately means that you pick your own scenario, because your brain acts as a filter. It constantly filters out information, and it's basing it on your past experiences, your goals, your perspective, and what you believe. Meaning, if you believe that there's no opportunities for you, then your brain will literally filter them out, even though they are right in front of your face. So ultimately, the reason why you're stuck is because you're stuck in a victim mentality. And that's exactly why I said that we need to make a change from victim mentality to winner mentality. Okay, enough with the science, let's talk about the real life scenarios and how to actually apply it. I mean, there's a reason why changing your perspective is one of the main ways of getting unstuck in your life. Because the way you process your past experiences, your beliefs, things that happen to you on a daily basis shape your perspective. So in order to change that, first thing that you need to do is allow yourself to be wrong. Just because you think something is the way you see it doesn't make it the ultimate truth. Your current belief system is shaped by your past experiences, and while most of your experiences, probably like 80% of them, were not in your control, what you can control now is the way you respond to it and move forward from it. Listen, people love to complain, and honestly, I was guilty of this myself, because honestly, it is easier to complain and blame things on external factors rather than actually look inward and ask ourselves if we are the problem. And if anything, this will attract more of those poor circumstances, because this is all we think about and this is what we believe we deserve. And obviously that is completely untrue, because I believe that we all are destined for greatness. We all are able to fulfill our potentials and become great people and succeed and live a happy, fulfilled life. But there's a certain bridge that we need to gap before we do that, and that is obviously limiting beliefs and our subconscious blocks. I spoke about victim mentality briefly, and let me explain what it actually means. Victim mentality is essentially when you think that things happen to you, that you have bad luck, that things are bad around you, that there's no opportunities, there's never enough, other people have it easy but you don't, and you always see the bad in situations, you never see the way out, you just feel like life is just that way. And again, no judgment here, because I was stuck in a victim mentality for the longest time. I mean, when I tell you that I've been literally blaming everything on external circumstances, but the only person that was actually making everything hard was me. But I'll be really honest with you here, snapping out of victim mentality is not easy. It's definitely not linear, especially if this is all you knew your whole life and this is how you've been your whole life. And especially if your circles are also stuck in victim mentality, it is making it 10 times harder. But this is not impossible, and I will give you ways on how to do this. But let's first establish what winner mentality is and how we get there, because winner mentality is the opposite of victim mentality. Winner mentality is when you see the good, you see the opportunities, and even when something bad happens to you, you don't dwell on it and you don't cry about it. You obviously acknowledge your feelings, but then you move forward with it, you learn a lesson, you're focused on your growth, you're focused on your journey, and you know that everything that happens for a reason. And most importantly, you choose how things affect you and you write your own narrative. You are resilient, you are disciplined, you are confident, and you know that whatever happens, you are able to overcome that. So that's exactly who we want to become. I'm going to give you an example from 6 months ago when I was stuck in victim mentality for literally the longest time. I was bed rotting all day. I wasn't doing anything to improve my circumstances, and I was just constantly complaining that things are difficult for me and I'm just always unlucky. But I was literally doing nothing to change that. And while I knew that this is not how I want to live, I just had no courage to get up. But then later on, my circumstances actually got worse. I mean, surprise, obviously. And that's where it clicked for me, and I was like, okay, I think this is my fault actually, and I think I need to do something about it. And now 6 months later, this is where I am. I am working full-time on social media, even though right now I am not big, I am not a full-on influencer, but I am working on this despite not seeing the results yet. I am constantly doing inner work and I am constantly improving, and honestly, I can tell you that it's been a journey, but I am so grateful. So how do we actually get to that winner mentality? I'm gonna tell you what helped me, because clearly it's a proven method, and I'm sure that this advice will help you as well. So let's break this down. First of all, you need to address your beliefs, and that is like the biggest step, and this is literally the foundation of everything. You won't move forward if you don't understand your beliefs first. And what I did personally, I literally just wrote it all down. I thought about what really is blocking me and what I've learned throughout my life. And it's very important to actually not judge yourself and not shame yourself for having certain beliefs, because this is what you've learned and what you've dealt so far, and you are now taking the first step to actually address it and change it. So you should be proud of yourself and celebrate it. The core thing is thinking about your past and any area of your life that you are trying to improve now. So let's say if you're struggling financially, let's think about what are your beliefs around money. Do you think that money is hard to make? Are you scared of money? Do you think that money is hard to keep? Do you think that you need to do shady things to get money? Do you think that all people that are rich are evil? Maybe you struggle with relationships and you want a partner, but you seem to attract only toxic people into your life. So think about, am I treating myself with respect? Am I actually setting boundaries? Do I believe that I'm really undeserving and unworthy of real love? Do I believe that there's no love around? By the way, I'm gonna have a full-on guide that is coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe. And if that guide is out by the time that you're watching this, then I'm gonna link it down below. And also, when you write those beliefs, you might see that there's things that you're avoiding, and this is crucial to genuinely be vulnerable with yourself and very honest with yourself, because we tend to avoid things because we are scared of them. They are out of our comfort zones, they are outside of what we think is correct or right. Because for the longest time, I believed that success is just not something that is going to happen for me. Like, I just thought that success is reserved for wealthy people, for people that have contacts, that have networks, and I didn't have any of that. But then I started opening my mind to success and people succeeding, and it didn't have to be people from my immediate circle, but it was people that were from similar backgrounds, and I saw, hold on, like, actually this is possible. They are doing this, and suddenly it started acting as that inspiration, and I wasn't envious, I wasn't jealous, I was actually inspired. And the very key thing is to actually understand what is holding you back. What are the reasons for those beliefs? So like I said, for example, with money, maybe the reason why you think that money is hard to keep or make is because you saw your parents struggling your whole life. Maybe you've been told that there's never enough. And when it comes to relationships, maybe you had a toxic relationship with your parents. Maybe the way your parents showed you love was very minimal, and that's how you see it nowadays. Maybe you've seen your friends get into toxic relationships and it's been normalized in your circle, so that's what you do yourself. That information allows you to rewire those beliefs, because that is the key thing to do. You need to rewire them in order to move forward. Obviously, what you've been doing so far brought you to here, brought you to now. And all of those beliefs that you have right now are not suitable for the success that you want. This path will prepare you to become the version of you that can handle the success, that can handle the money, that can handle the body, that can handle the partner. Because can you truly imagine yourself being in a healthy relationship, but what you do is constantly questioning that person. You're thinking if that person is going to cheat on you. You're thinking if that person is actually truly loving you. You're questioning every single move that this person makes. Do you think that that's going to be healthy? No, you actually going to make it toxic. So that's why it starts with inner work, because then you are able to completely reshape how you see things and how you shape your narrative. And I just want to remind you that this is something that will definitely take time. It's not linear, and especially if those beliefs are really deeply rooted in you and this is something that you've seen your whole life, it will take time to rewire them. I still to this day struggle with abundance mindset because I come from struggle, and all I knew my whole life is that money is difficult, that money is tied to anxiety, that money is tied to very negative feelings, and the constant questioning if you're gonna have enough money for rent, for instance. That's why it's hard for me today to still feel abundant every single day. This is something that I'm working on every single day. And there's gonna be many times when your old beliefs will try to overpower the beliefs that you are setting for yourself right now. And that's why you need to be gentle with yourself and compassionate to yourself. And that's why the key is the repetition and consistency. Despite what is happening, bad days, low days, good days, you are consistent and you're actively working on this. And I briefly mentioned that I personally opened my mind to success and seeing other people succeed. And especially I was looking at women from struggling backgrounds, or for example women that were homeless and went to millionaires, and that's something that completely shifted my perspective, because I thought to myself, if she was homeless and she was able to still build a £1 million empire, while I am not homeless, I do have an apartment, I am more than capable of achieving those things. And it's not to compare circumstances, because every circumstance is different, but it is inspiring me and motivating me. What I'm trying to say here is that when you see someone that has even worse background, you actually start thinking to yourself, okay, well, I'm not having this that bad as this person does. That means that I should not be slacking, and I should really take charge of my own narrative and change my life. And it's very important to open your mind to this, because from victim mentality, we always assume that someone had it easier than us, that they had some sort of a lucky opportunity, or they did something shady to achieve certain things. You need to let go of that. You need to let go of making assumptions. Another very important aspect of this journey is letting go of people, things, and environments that are holding you back. Let me just put it that way. If you are surrounding yourself with people that are constantly thinking in this victim mentality and they're constantly complaining, but they are not doing anything in order to change their circumstances, you're gonna fall back right into it. And while some friends might get inspired by what you're doing, some of them, and probably that's gonna be much more of them, will feel envy, will feel jealous, and they will feel threatened as well. And what they will do, they will project onto you, and they will try to drag you right back to the square zero. And you don't want that. You don't want people to drag you back where you are. And especially in this journey, it is easy to snap back into it because you are vulnerable, you're still learning. And I'm not saying you now have to cut everybody off, but just be wary with who you surround yourself with and what you tell people. And if you see that now, since you've been on this journey, things are not clicking anymore, that is a red flag, and that's basically a sign for you to step back. Not everybody will progress with you, and that is okay. You also shouldn't be judging anybody for that. It's just that everybody has a different timeline, and everybody is doing different things, have different journeys, and that is okay. Another very useful thing is practicing gratitude. And you might be thinking, oh my god, not this again, because I know everybody says that, but being grateful is actually such a beautiful way to become more positive and actually snap out of victim mentality. Because at the end of the day, if you've got your rent paid, if you've got food in the fridge, and if you've got health, you're happy, that is all you need. And even better, if you've got a laptop or a phone, you have all the resources that you need to change your life around. And you should be really grateful for every single thing that you own, that you have, that you experience, because everything brings a lesson into your life. Everything happens for a purpose. And like I said, a winner mentality person will always think that anything that happens to them brings some sort of a new lesson to their life. And that's what you need to start doing, because even when something happens to you that is difficult and at the time it seems like you can't deal with it anymore, it's okay to acknowledge your feelings, but don't get into this spiral of thinking, oh my god, I'm so unlucky, everything is lost now. What you need to do is think, what is this experience teaching me? Why is it happening to me? Is there a lesson that it's carried with that specific thing? Because a winner mentality person will not sit down and cry and just stay stuck for another year. No, they're gonna acknowledge the feelings, but they're gonna then stand up and move forward. And ultimately, they're gonna be grateful that this happened to them because it carried a lesson. And you can pair gratitude with meditation, because meditation relaxes your mind and also makes you much more positive. It enhances your focus and your well-being overall. Sitting in silence is actually such an underrated way, because it really helps you process your feelings and kind of process what you are going through, but also detaching from it. The core of meditation is basically just focusing on your breath. Even when you feel something, maybe an itch, maybe you feel like there's so many thoughts in your mind, it's about letting them pass. It's about not reacting to things, and that is helping you master emotional maturity as well, and be much more calm when things happen to you. And when all of this is enhanced, so your positivity, your well-being, your mental health, you automatically become a kind person. You start spreading kindness, and you might be surprised how much good you see in people when you spread kindness and when you're kind yourself. There's another thing that I wanted to touch on, and that is getting out of your comfort zone. As we all know, success is outside of your comfort zone, and that's why you need to step out of it. We like to stick to what's comfortable and feels safe for us, but it doesn't mean that we have to stay that way forever, and it definitely means that we're not going to grow if we stick to that. Winner mentality needs winner-like actions, and that's why you need to be more brave, you need to be more confident, and ultimately when you step out of your comfort zone, that's when it happens. That's when you gain this confidence and this resilience. Because like I said, when you think about something and you are stressed about it, your brain will trigger that stress response, right? But that means that it's either imagined or it's actually stressful, and you need to determine, is it actually stressful, or am I just talking myself into it being stressful? And this is the best way to rewire your subconscious as well, because when you do these things that scare you but you dive right in, you prove your subconscious and yourself that you are much more than capable of handling challenges, and that grows your confidence. That makes you so powerful in yourself and so grounded in yourself, and you feel so trusting of yourself that nothing will shake you. And this is you moving from that victim mentality to winner mentality. And even if you fail multiple times, even if it doesn't go the way you thought it would, it's fine, because failures are literally data. Failures and mistakes fast track your growth. And I always say that failures are data, because this is literally information for you of what is not working and what you need to do moving forward. Have you ever had a situation, for example, in school when you had a test, right? And you studied hard for that test, and then the grades come back and you actually get a grade that is much worse than you expected, and you kind of beating yourself up about it, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, why did I do that? And then you share that with your other friends, and some other friends got the same exact grade or lower than you, and they are completely unfazed. They're like, whatever, I'm gonna do better next time. And you're like, how are you not crying right now? Like, how are you not going mental? Because they choose a different narrative. Failures and mistakes is what is shaping your subconscious and you into this person that is completely unshakable. And ultimately, the failures are literally what is preparing you for the next step and the next chapter. That's why you should be grateful for them, and that's what winner mentality does. And I'm gonna give you a little tip that I started doing recently, is keeping achievement log. I actually have it here on my notes app, and basically what you do with this, every night, every single day, you just write down what you achieved in that day. So you look back on everything that you did that day and think about, what did I do that actually moved me forward? What did I do that I'm proud of? What made me happy that day? What was the highlight of that day? This achievement log will help you see that you're moving with your progress much more forward than you're actually thinking. It will help you celebrate your wins. It will help you notice them even more, which again shapes your subconscious and helps you rewire your mindset and beliefs. And a very powerful mindset shift that I want to give you in this video is that things are not happening to you, they are happening for you. And I know how it sounds, okay? I know that it sounds a bit of like a cliche advice, but it is the reality. Things are happening for you to understand, to grow, to move forward, to become the person that you want to become. Because think about this, if a certain thing didn't happen to you before, let's say a few years ago, would you be the same person now? You wouldn't. And that's the same for me. If I didn't fall into a complete bottom with my finances before, I wouldn't pick myself up and do things to actually improve my situation. I wouldn't be doing YouTube right now. I would be still bedrotting. And even though, yes, it is difficult, like it's not an easy thing to go through, it is teaching me something, and it made me and shaped me into the person that I am now. And further challenges will shape me into a person that I want to be. In the end, it's all about how you tackle the situations, because even when something traumatic happens to you, I'm not saying that you should jump in the air and just yell with happiness. It's okay to sit with your feelings and acknowledge them. But the winner mentality person will not sit with those feelings for ages and bedrot. No, they're gonna move forward. They're gonna try and eventually heal from this and learn and move forward, because you are the person that is choosing to either allow it to break you or to shape you into someone that you want to be. There's no other way around it. It's literally how you allow those situations to affect you, because you are the person that is actually choosing a response. You step back and you think about the situation before you react, or you just react impulsively and suddenly it's a whole another level of drama. That's why emotional maturity is so important, because it's not about not reacting to things and just acting like nothing is happening or pretending that you're happy 24/7. Try to remember things that happened in your past and that you thought there was literally no way out of it, and you just felt like you are completely crashing and nothing's gonna be better after this. And guess what? You're still standing, you are still here, you are still moving forward. So that's why certain situations seem very hard in the moment, but they are not so hard a few years after, and they will shape you. Even though in the moment they look bad, it doesn't mean that it will last forever. And I'm gonna give you an unusual hack, which is understanding your birth chart. And before you click off and you think, oh my god, not another astrology person again, trust me, your birth chart can reveal so much more about you than you even think. And your birth chart can actually tell you what really affects you and how you should go about certain situations. That's what helped me. Personally, I understood so much more about myself. For example, I am Scorpio rising, and that means I'm very emotionally intense. That's why I am very protective, and that's why I kind of process things so much more deeply than other people. And instead of shaming myself for it, I embraced it, and I just now know how to work around it. I'm also an Aquarius sun and Capricorn moon, so also I'm very visionary, but I also like structure. I finally understood why I like things the certain way, and I do them that way, and now guess what, I'm happy. And this you can treat as your first stepping outside of your comfort zone experience. Open your mind to it, try to learn about it. If it doesn't resonate, just don't take it, it's fine. You tried, it didn't work, that's fine. So if you are feeling like you are stuck right now and nothing is moving forward, I just want you to remember that you are more than capable of moving from victim mentality to winner mentality. And let me reassure you that there are gonna be points where you also feel stuck in the winner mentality, but it comes from expansion, and it suggests that there's gonna be a breakthrough. It doesn't come from feeling like you are unlucky and opportunities are scarce, etc. This is your sign to look inwards and actually take the first step. And honestly, be proud of yourself that you watched this video all the way through, because this is the first step of you acknowledging that you might be in a wrong mindset, and you're taking the first step to change it. You're learning about it, you're opening your mind to a different perspective, and that is beautiful, and I'm very proud that you've done it. Because I know myself how hard it is, because I used to get defensive all the time whenever someone would tell me that maybe I am the problem. But now I really understand that, and I know that it might sound harsh, but it's the truth, it's the reality, and it's about accepting it and moving forward with it. This journey won't be linear. There will be times when your old identity wants to come back. It takes practice, and that's what makes perfect. And if you are stuck in particular areas of your life, I have a few guides that you can see on my channel. They are all in the playlist called Ultimate Guides. I'm also on all other social media channels, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, where I post daily, and it's all bite-sized advice, so make sure to follow me on that as well. And if you want to see how I apply my own advice, then look at my vlogs as well, because I will be posting more of them. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments and what is your take on victim mentality. But as of now, I'm gonna see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.